Everyone knows how to graph linear equations, hopefully, using slope and y-intercept. So if I give the equation y equals x plus 3, we know that the first thing we do is graph the y-intercept. So I go up 3 on the y-axis. And from that point, I use the slope ratio, which in this situation, since the x-coordinate is 1, that's the rise over a run of 1. It has a slope of 1. I'm going to go up 1, over 1, up 1, over 1, up 1, over 1, up 1, and so on and so forth. And I'm going to do my best to use a ruler to draw the line, but I haven't had a whole lot of luck with this. So we'll just take it the best we can. Ooh, that was better than usual. Okay. So this is the graph of the equation y equals x plus 3. So graphing linear inequalities means that we want to graph something like y is greater than or equal to x plus 3. We already know that this line is a picture or graph of all of the solutions of when y equals x plus 3. So let's think about the nature of coordinates and what the y-coordinate tells us. So let's say I want to graph the point 3, 4. Hopefully, everybody knows I go 1, 2, 3. 3 is the across move. 4 is the y move. So y of 4 means I'm going up 4. The reason why that matters is because I'm not just looking for the y's that equal x plus 3. I'm looking for the y's, all of the y's, that are greater than or equal to x plus 3. We've got the equal to covered with the line because that is the graph of y equals x plus 3. But since the y-coordinate tells us how high or low, and we want y to be greater than or equal to x plus 3, that means we are looking for all of the y's that are higher than, because greater than with y means above. So to do problems like this, I shade above the line. Now, many right away said, well, what if it were x plus 3? And it wasn't or equal to. And that's a really great question, because now it's everything above but not including the line. So the way we do that is to show it as a dotted line. So the summary for what the symbols mean and the shading and the lines are that if I have greater than or equal to, that means, let's see, this isn't the way that I did it in class. I want to be consistent. Sorry. Greater than or equal to. That means you shade above. As opposed to less than or equal to, you shade below the line. And I mean below. And by that I mean below the line. These, you kind of need to make a little table. These on the left are dotted lines. And these are solid lines because the solid lines include the line itself because they're or equal to, and the dotted lines do not include the line itself. That the first thing you want to do is solve the equation for y. Not all of them are already in slope-intercept form. Here, don't forget to watch out for negatives. When you're solving, watch out for multiplying or dividing by negatives. sign flips. That's the hard thing to remember throughout this chapter. Second, you're going to use the slope and the y-intercept to graph the related equation. What I mean by that is we solved the problem y is greater than or equal to x plus 3. Before I could do that, I had to graph the line y equals x plus y. So you set the inequality symbol equal to the equation when you're solving. And then you look at the inequality symbol and you do the shading. And you also do the solid versus, if it's not a solid line, you have to make it dotted. Okay, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I do want to remind you that it's only in relation to the line that you have to worry about the shading. If my line is really steep like this, it might not seem like above means anything. But from any of these points on the line, if it's a greater than, you just go straight up. Okay, as steep as it gets. So then, if it's greater than and it's a vertical line, it goes like this. By the way, vertical lines have the equation in the form of x equals something. Let's say this is x equals 3. But now we're going to make it x is greater than or equal to 3, and that's what that graph looks like. Similarly, a y is greater than, y equals is a horizontal line. So if I were to do y is less than or equal to -2, I'd first graph y equals -2, and it looks like this. And if y is less than, I'm going to shade below. Okay, so just be aware of how the shading works, and everything else is pretty straightforward.